Dear friend, have you ever thought that improving blood circulation, especially in the sensitive area where most men over the age of 60 often feel weaker with age, could come from an extremely simple solution that doesn't involve medication, medical procedures, or cost anything at all? It may sound unbelievable, but there is a growing body of scientific evidence showing that just one cold glass of water, something you may have overlooked for years, can help your body reactivate blood flow to the genital area in just 7 minutes. This isn't speculation. These findings come from a series of medical studies conducted in Japan. Their discoveries are prompting experts to reevaluate how we approach age-related physiological decline in men, while opening up new possibilities for thousands who once believed their peak years were long behind them. I'm Dr. Samuel Grant, with over 3 decades of expertise in men's health. Throughout this journey, I've accompanied retired veterans, men who have left the workforce, and ordinary individuals who once felt they had lost their strength. But what they often needed wasn't a powerful drug. It was a small change made at the right time. Typically, people tend to avoid cold or sweet drinks due to concerns over blood pressure, heart health, or blood sugar. But today, I'll introduce you to a refreshingly simple drink that can enhance circulation, especially in the genital area, within just a few minutes of consumption. And the very first part of today's journey will explain exactly why this seemingly ordinary beverage can produce such powerful effects, from a completely scientific perspective. Trust me, this is something you won't expect. Before we go any further, may I get to know you a bit? What's your name, and where in the world are you watching this video from? I'd love to connect with men who are actively taking care of their health like you. Leave a comment below so I know who I'm accompanying on this journey and where my message is reaching across the globe. If you have any health-related questions, feel free to share them in the comment section. I'll review them and provide detailed responses in future videos. And if you find content like this helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications, so you won't miss out on practical insights tailored to men's health after 50. Right now, let's move on to the first section, where I'll break down the internal mechanism that quietly diminishes blood flow as we age, and why just one glass of water each morning may create an unexpected breakthrough. Part 1. Circulation Mechanism. Why can just one glass of water create such fast effects? When I first heard that a cold drink could boost blood flow to the genital area in just a few minutes, I reacted like most of my colleagues, cautiously, even skeptically. Because in medicine, true improvements usually require time, certainly not something you'd expect from a simple beverage. But then I began studying data from Japanese research teams, alongside direct observations from my own patients. And what I realized was that a very reasonable mechanism had been overlooked in how we view blood circulation, especially in older men. The drink we're talking about contains no stimulants, but it taps into the body's natural thermal response. When you introduce a cold liquid into the body, your nervous system reacts by constricting blood vessels to preserve core temperature. Shortly after, the body responds in reverse, dilating those vessels to rebalance blood flow and heat. That sudden vasodilation, paired with minerals like potassium and magnesium found in fresh coconut water, helps blood reach areas that typically suffer from poor circulation, particularly the pelvic region and reproductive organs. At this moment, the body doesn't need medication or commands. It's simply following its own biological instincts. The fresh mint leaves in the drink also play a subtle yet supportive role. They create a cooling sensation from within, heightening circulatory sensitivity and soothing the nervous system, both of which are often negatively affected by age-related stress. All these elements, when combined at the right time and in the right way, create a dual circulation response, helping not only to increase blood flow, but to direct it precisely where the body needs it most for recovery. And that's just the surface. In the next section, I'll show you the exact way to prepare this drink, how much is enough, when to drink it for best results, and a few small but common mistakes that can unfortunately reduce its effectiveness. Dear friend, if you're still watching this video at this point, I truly appreciate your patience and care. Please leave the number 1 in the comments below to let me know you're still with me on this journey to better health. Part 2. Proper preparation instructions for maximum effectiveness. After witnessing many older patients experience noticeable changes after just a few days of application, I began to realize, not every formula needs to be complex. Sometimes just one simple step each morning, if done correctly, can bring results far beyond expectations. What I often recommend is, start with 120 to 180 ml of fresh coconut water. This type of water is unprocessed, contains no sugar or flavorings, because what your body truly needs here is the natural mineral system including potassium and magnesium, not empty calories. Next, add 3 to 4 fresh mint leaves. You don't need to grind or crush them, just use the back of a spoon to gently press and release the essential oils from the leaves. The scent and active compounds of mint will help stimulate the parasympathetic nervous system while enhancing the cooling effect internally. Once prepared, you should place the glass in the fridge for about 10 to 15 minutes. Some patients prefer to prepare it the night before, so that it's ready to use in the morning without wasting time. The cool temperature of the drink not only supports the constriction, dilation reflex, but also helps jumpstart the body naturally without putting stress on the cardiovascular system. A small but important note, drink it slowly. This is not a thirst-quenching beverage, it is a gentle therapy for your circulatory system. When you sip slowly, your body has time to absorb the minerals, essential oils, and allows the physiological response to occur more rhythmically. The ideal time to drink it is about 15 to 20 minutes before breakfast, or right before a light activity like walking or breathing exercises. This will help direct the blood flow to the right areas, particularly the pelvic region and limbs, where circulation is often sluggish in older adults. The preparation doesn't take more than 2 minutes, but what you gain can last the entire day, from the feeling of lightness in your body to greater mental clarity in your work or family activities. So why can such a simple drink deliver such fast results in just a few minutes? What mechanism is actually being awakened inside you? Let's explore this phenomenon from the perspective of biology and circulation in the next section. Part 3, Immediate Physiological Response. Why does it work within minutes? As someone who has worked in medicine for many years, I'm used to assessing treatment results by the week, even by the month. So when my patients reported that just a few minutes after drinking this cold water, they already felt something different in their body, I had to dig deeper to understand why. And truly, the answer lies in a natural mechanism that few people pay attention to: the thermoregulation reflex and compensatory vasodilation. When you introduce a cold temperature drink into the body, the central nervous system reacts almost instantly to protect the core. It does this by constricting peripheral blood vessels, minimizing heat loss. But just a few minutes later, the body actively reopens the blood vessels to adjust circulation and ease the initial constriction. This exact process of constrict then dilate, when combined with the stable mineral content in coconut water, creates a fresh wave of blood circulation aimed at the commonly neglected regions in older adults like the pelvic area, feet, and hands. Beyond that, the mint essence contributes to internal cooling, activates the parasympathetic nervous reflex, helps stabilize heart rate, and softens blood vessels, thus encouraging a more natural and rhythmic circulatory flow. What's remarkable is, all these responses happen without drugs, without chemical interference, and entirely rely on your body's inherent capability. The simple glass of water is merely a signal to awaken what once worked powerfully, but now just needs to be reactivated. A 76-year-old man once told me, "I thought I was too late, but after a few days of drinking it, something inside me felt like it came back to life." That story is far from unique, and if you're wondering, what will happen if you keep this habit up every day, consistently for a week, I believe the answer ahead will truly surprise you. Dear friend, if you're still here and watching up to this point, thank you for your patience and the care you're giving to your own health. Please leave the number 3 in the comments so I know you're still walking alongside me on this journey. Part 4. What happens after 7 days of consistent application? I often encourage my patients not to focus solely on how they feel after just one morning, but to observe their bodies for at least 7 days. Because when a good habit is repeated consistently each day, the body begins to register and respond. Usually, by the second or third day, some gentlemen have shared that their mornings become more noticeable, with the first sign being clearer and more natural morning erections. This isn't just a physiological signal, but also an indicator that blood is being pumped more regularly to the pelvic area. In the following days, many report feeling more alert, lighter in their bodies, and especially a reduction in cold hands and feet or a heavy feeling after meals. This is a direct result of improved peripheral circulation, a critical factor for older adults who often experience reduced blood flow due to low levels of physical activity. It's not only the physical state, the mental state gradually improves too. Experiencing a positive physiological sign in the morning, even a small one, is enough to spark motivation, confidence, and a desire to live healthier. Additionally, thanks to the combination of minerals from coconut water and the anti-inflammatory properties of mint, many feel less bloating, improved digestion, and deeper sleep at night. These are positive ripple effects that begin to unfold once the body is supported from the foundation of improved circulation. However, it's important to note, improvement won't sustain itself without the support of daily lifestyle habits. That's why in the next section, I'll share a few small actions you can combine each morning, not only to maintain these effects, but to expand them to other aspects of your health. Part 5. Combining simple habits to enhance and sustain results. Even though a glass of cold water each morning can trigger a positive circulatory response, the long-term effects only become truly sustainable when combined with supporting habits throughout the day. The first habit is light physical movement after drinking. You don't need high-intensity workouts or a gym visit. Just 10 minutes of walking around the house or a few gentle stretching movements are enough to enhance blood circulation, especially to the lower limbs and pelvic region, areas that often become sluggish in older adults. Next, about 15–20 minutes after drinking, have a light meal that includes protein, such as a boiled egg, a few almonds, or a slice of whole grain bread. Protein helps maintain energy, supports hormone synthesis, and increases the ability to sustain the effects of the initial drink. Additionally, a crucial factor that must not be overlooked is intentional deep breathing. Spending a few minutes practicing slow, deep, and steady breaths not only helps stabilize blood pressure, but also calms the nervous system and allows blood vessels to naturally dilate, which is essential for steady blood circulation. Finally, the most important factor is consistency. You don't need to do everything perfectly every day, but maintaining these simple steps with regularity will help your body form a positive circulatory reflex. And over time, this becomes the foundation for sustainable health improvement. However, many still wonder, if I'm currently taking medication for chronic conditions such as high blood pressure, diabetes, or heart disease, is this habit still suitable? In the next section, I'll clarify that based on real experiences from my own patients. Part 6. If you're taking medication, should you still try this method? One of the questions I'm asked most frequently is, I'm currently on medication for blood pressure, heart conditions, or diabetes. Can I try this method? This is a completely valid question, and one that everyone should carefully consider before adding any new habit to their daily routine. The good news is, with natural ingredients, no sugar, and no sudden spikes in insulin or blood pressure, this drink is generally safe, even for those taking medication for chronic conditions. Fresh coconut water contains a natural amount of potassium and magnesium, which can help regulate blood pressure and gently replenish electrolytes, without overloading the cardiovascular system. Meanwhile, mint leaves, with their mild anti-inflammatory and digestive supporting properties, do not affect blood sugar or the function of the liver or kidneys. However, it's important not to be complacent. Even natural methods require careful observation. If you're undergoing a specific treatment phase or have a history of electrolyte imbalance, consult your doctor before committing to long-term use. In reality, I've had many older patients who were on daily medication, but were still able to integrate this habit as part of their natural recovery and circulation support process. Not as a replacement for medication, but as a way to help the body function more rhythmically, which in turn supports more effective treatment. What's remarkable is that when blood flows better, sleep improves, and mood stabilizes. Key medical indicators such as blood pressure, heart rate, and glucose levels also tend to become easier to manage. But those numbers aren't everything. Because at the end of the day, what patients truly feel isn't just a statistic, it's the sensation of returning to themselves, to feel present, alive, and meaningful. And that brings us to another important aspect I want to share in the next section: the mental impact. Because when the body starts responding positively, your emotions, beliefs, and connection to yourself can shift in ways you might never expect. Part 7. When blood flows, the spirit recovers too. Throughout my time working with hundreds of older male patients, I've noticed something very clear. Improvements in blood circulation don't just stop at physical functions. They often reignite emotions, confidence, and spirit that many thought they had lost. Many men over 60 have come to me in a quiet, withdrawn state, seemingly resigned to living as a faded version of themselves. But then, after just a few weeks of improved blood flow, their gaze changes, their voice becomes more vibrant, and they become more proactive in daily life. Why does this happen? Better circulation doesn't only nourish organs, it also stimulates the parasympathetic nervous system, the silent operator behind emotions, sleep, and relaxation. When circulation is restored, the brain receives more oxygen, the endocrine system functions more steadily, and as a result, emotional states naturally become more positive. Some have shared that just feeling warmer hands and feet in the morning, or responding again when being close to their wife, helped them regain a sense of worth, not just in the eyes of others but in their own. This is something medication rarely provides. A reconnection between biological sensation and self-worth. However, in order to sustain this inspiration and help it expand over time, we need a stronger behavioral foundation, not just from the drink, but from habits that support both the mind and body. That's why in the next section, I'll guide you through building a simple morning routine, like a recovery ritual, to help you preserve the effects you've achieved. Part 8. Building a morning habit, maintaining long-term results and inspiration. When a small habit creates a positive change, the next logical step is not to increase the dose or expect more, but to reinforce it through conscious repetition. And the ideal time to maintain both physical and emotional vitality is in the morning. Morning is not only when the body begins to function again after a night's rest, but also when hormones and blood circulation are most favorably primed for activation. That's why I often guide my patients to build a gentle morning ritual, simple, easy to maintain, but powerful enough to set the tone for the whole day. Start by drinking the glass of water you prepared the night before in a quiet and unhurried space. Follow this with a few light stretching movements, nothing complicated, just enough to get the blood flowing and joints awakened. Next, spend about 5 minutes on deep, slow breathing to regulate your heart rate, calm the nervous system, and help oxygen reach your brain more steadily. Some people like to pair this with early sunlight or a few minutes of reading, which further enhances the effect. Finally, have a light breakfast that includes quality protein and a bit of healthy fat, such as a boiled egg, some nutritious nuts, or a slice of whole grain bread. What you feed your body right after activating circulation will determine your energy level for the rest of the morning. What's important is that when these small actions are repeated each morning, your body begins to recognize them as recovery signals and automatically reinforces physiological, circulatory, and emotional functions in a natural way. However, I know many people still ask themselves, I'm already old, can these changes still happen? And that's exactly what I want to share in the final section. A message dedicated to those who have ever thought it was too late to begin again.